And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the second broadcast of the night. Welcome to World Team League WCS World Team League Code A, day number 7, the final day of Code A, and the final day where we find out who makes it in and who is out, who makes it into Code S and who is relegated to nothingness. They go on, mate. They go on, papi.
To the void.
To the void, papi. To the void. I'm your host, Live VIP, and with me, I am joined by the lovely, the beautiful, the shaven, the AsherBro. Oh.
Hello. We have a game already.
We do.
And in the top left, the blue Protoss, German Protoss, playing for Berserker is Spatz.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have representing IG, it is BreakingGG. And yes, for those wondering, we are getting into our first match, Berserker eSports versus Invictus Gaming, and this is the final qualifying match. The winner moves on to Code S, the loser to the void, papi, to the void. Where all the Protoss are. Oh.
BreakingGG does the overpull as well. I've only ever seen Mio do that.
Yeah, I think there's another
there's a Latam player that does it as well.
Yeah. Eric. Eric does it.
It's your son.
It's my son, papi. I don't know why he does what he does.
Bad habits.
I don't understand, papi. I don't understand.
All your sons are like this. Patty was like this too.
Is it a bad habit or is it a good habit? Yeah, I like it, papi. I like it.
You encourage deviant behavior.
It's not deviant. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Like a son, if you're going to do these strange builds, as long as you're not wearing pants, it's okay.
Yeah. Be loud and proud, papi. Loud and proud. Let's go. Oh my god. But yeah, it's great to have you back, Asher. You know, I did take some time off. It's been years, papi. It's been years.
Oh, it's been so long.
You look like a different human being.
It's alright, you got to cast with Chase yesterday. That was nice.
It's true. I did cast with Chase for the first time in a long time as well. It's also been years, papi.
It'd have been millennia. Decades even.
Decades, papi, decades. But it's great to be back here, especially with the most important match. Yesterday, I guess you didn't really miss out on too much. Team Basilisk did kind of just roll over SLT and make it to the grand finals of Code A. On top of that, Team Abydos also had a very strong showing as well against Platinum Heroes. Of course, these are teams that we will be casting later on in the night. First, we have to find out, again, who is going to face them here.
So, Platinum Heroes already qualified, right? I believe.
Yes.
Okay, they're the last team that got knocked out that qualified. Okay.
Mm.
Very confusing, but I think I have my head around it. All the qualified teams are already confirmed. Is that right?
Yes. They are confirmed. Oh, except for this one. Sorry, except for this one.
Oh, except for this one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is the last one.
Oh, everything's on the line.
Oh.
I mean, Invictus, they've been here before, but I don't think Berserker's actually been in the Code S before.
Yeah, this is kind of a really big opportunity for Berserker eSports, and we're kicking things off already with their ace player. Spatz has arrived. He's been putting in a lot of good work. If you remember, he is the player who did take a game off of Dongregyu earlier in the tournament itself, so he has proven himself amongst the best of the best. But BreakingGG, he's just a little bit different, a little bit odd. He's built different.
Yeah, I didn't know who Spatz was, and Spatz gave me the "you know who I am now" riot treatment. Off to everyone. And yeah, I know who he is now. Very strong player.
Yeah, you know, the German Protosses have been on the rise recently, both Spatz, you know, for Julmi as well recently, you know, the Protoss. But
they're looking strong, yeah.
They are looking strong. They're looking strong, and we'll see what BreakingGG has to offer. He's the new pickup of Invictus Gaming, and he has kind of taken the mantle that was once reserved for Coffee, as Coffee did step away, which is unfortunate. Some big shoes to fill. Big shoes.
definitely. But already BreakingGG off to a pretty good start. So he's delayed this third Nexus by quite a lot, and he actually got that Adept despite it being tucked away so nicely with only 2 Lings lost. So that's a really nice trade, especially when the Protoss, with this build particularly, they rely on such a small number of units to secure their third. Usually it's like 2 Adepts and an Oracle, and they don't even really want to leave the Oracle at home if they can help it. So getting an Adept kill this early is pretty nice for the Zerg.
It really is. It really is. So BreakingGG had a decent start. Unfortunately, he did lose 4 drones here. They were actually transferring between the main and the natural, so they were a little bit exposed. And Spatz, he just dove on them with these oracles, and as a result, you know, he's been able to get some value. He's still sharking around, looking for another opportunity. But BreakingGG is actually making roaches very early.
Oh, la cucaracha.
Oh, sí, papi.
I thought I saw him throw down a Hydra then. Maybe he cancelled it, or I'm just blind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wearing your glasses. I mean...
Oh. I was wondering when this was going to start.
But yeah, here we go. We have, for the most part, cut workers at 52. BreakingGG is making a lot of roaches right now, and there's honestly no reason to have these roaches unless we want to be aggressive. We do see roach speed on the way. The real question is, Spatz is being active with his oracles. Will he be able to see the roach count?
Poppy, I don't even know who you are without your glasses. put them on, see if I can tell.
True. And here we go.
Yeah, this Oracle's going to be spotting these roaches moving out across the map, so Spat's going to be scrambling to prepare here. We see he throws down a few extra batteries, actually making an extra Robo and Robo Bay very early, so looking a bit further on, and I guess with these Oracles buying him time, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit of a greedy response from Spatz, and here we go. We have Queens, Lings, and Roaches flooding across the map. BreakingGG is going all in. The shield batteries weren't quite ready. Overcharge is being popped. The boys are being pulled, but the stuff we have the Stalkers.
Yeah, every single Stalker goes down, and now the Probe's going to start to go down as well. I feel like BreakingGG has to get a lot of damage to make this worth it, but as the Probes start to fall now, I think he's getting what he needs.
Yeah, exactly. For Spatz to go for a second Robo, for him to go for that Bay as well, was maybe a little bit too greedy. The third base is going to be going down. And from here, BreakingGG, he is free to drone.
Yeah, the third base going down is huge. I mean, yeah, like you're saying, he can drone behind it. He's actually going to be throwing down a Spire as well, just to make sure he's safe against any potential options. I think specifically versus the... Oh, thank you, Observer. That was so nice. Specifically against the double Robo Disruptor, being able to go into Muta should pretty much seal the end of the game here, if it even gets that far.
Yeah, exactly. As the Roaches are going to look for to do a little bit more damage, they do get the Cyber Core in the end, but the Disruptors are out. Nova is going to find some damage here as BreakingGG, actually, he wants just to get more.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if he takes out this pylon, it's going to depower a decent amount of things, but Shield Battery Overcharge has been committed. The Void Ray just putting out constant damage here, so definitely a good choice to get that out there for Spatz, and it will push back the Zerg player here, but, I mean... we don't have a third. I don't know if we can even try to get the third.
Yeah, exactly. The third base isn't taken. We see BreakingGG just droning up quite happily. We have a fourth base on the way. That tech you were talking about, the Spire, is going to be key here because, as you were saying, Mutas should just end the game. Like, we do have Blink Stalkers, to be fair, and we have a Void Ray, I guess. But in general, Mutas should be able to just dance between all these bases, pick off probes, and also pick off those disruptors.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, Spatz is doing what he can. He's continuing to get very good scouting with this Oracle, so still being active. And the Disruptors, of course, they are such a good comeback mechanic for the Protoss. I'm struggling to imagine a fight where even with amazing Novas, he's going to have enough left over to clean up what's there. But yeah, we'll have to see as there we go, those Mutas have arrived. They are going to be heading straight towards the main base here, and what does Spatz have to deal with them? It feels like he really does not have much in the way of anti-air.
Yeah, the problem is that he's been skipping out on Warpins to go for those Colossi. We have Colossi instead, and the Mutas come in. GG gets called.
GG, very strong first game coming out from BreakingGG. He is not messing around. He wants IG to come through.
He really does. And we were talking about it earlier, you know, Coffee, he had some big shoes. And you know what they say about big shoes?
Big feet.
And apparently BreakingGG, he is up to the task to fill those shoes, to have those big feet. And taking the first game here against Spatz is honestly pretty surprising. You know, there's a lot of hype around Spatz. He's been getting a lot of really good results. So for BreakingGG to kind of like take away that momentum already is pretty big.
You feel like Zerg players have bigger feet on average than Protoss players?
On average. Yeah. 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 My God, did you even have to ask that question? What do you mean, Puppy? What do you mean?
I don't know. Sometimes I just like to serve them up so you can smack them down.
Yeah. Smack them, Puppy. Do you think on average Terran players have bigger feet than Protoss players?
Inconveniently large, yeah. Like clown shoes. They don't make shoes big enough.
Oh
They
my
have to walk
God.
around barefooted.
They're clowns, Puppy. They're clowns.
That's true.
Oh God. Ay. It's putting a lot of phrases into context, and it all makes sense now, mate. It all makes sense. As we're getting ready for our second game, and we have our chosen map of choice. Spatz is going for Neo-Humanity.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think if I was a Zerg player, I would be extremely sad to have to play Protoss on this map. Can you confirm? Or have you just had it vetoed from the start of the season?
Oh, I have not played a single game on Neo-Humanity, Papi. Ay. There are options here for aggression, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if BreakingGG does go for another Roach-based all-in, a timing attack. Fun fact, earlier today, we actually casted Ragnarok versus Classic, and Ragnarok had a really unique kind of Roach Queen all-in, where typically we've seen plenty of Zerg players like break through the rocks and just go through right in the middle. Ragnarok actually went around the side of the map, which was quite interesting, and he to hit the linear base. Yeah.
I've actually been thinking about that a lot for my own all-ins. It's something very interesting you can do with this map. We saw Oliveira actually did it versus Raynor, where for his all-in, he broke down the rocks in the center to cut off his opponent's counterattack potential, and then went right around the outside. And the other thing as well is you control the watchtower on the other side, and you pretty much have everything covered. So if you have the watchtower on the left, break the rocks in the middle, and then push down the right, you kind of get everything that you need.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely an interesting way to approach this map.
Definitely. But we'll see if we get that as spawning in the top right-hand corner for Invictus Gaming, BreakingGG.
In the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Protoss for Berserker. This is Spatz.
Oh boy, so we'll see if our Zerg player here has been, messing around a little bit with different all-ins on this map. If not, we may be in for a bit of a longer game, which would benefit our Protoss player here, Spatz. He, in game one, he wasn't able to play StarCraft. He had all this tech on the way, but wasn't really able to make use of it.
Yeah, this is a map. I mean, the reason we say that it is strong for Protoss is the bases, once you have them up and running, are very defensible. I mean, there's a lot of ramps and chokes you have to attack up through to get to, which does help Protoss with all their splash damage, just because it funnels all the units together. As you were saying, breaking down those rocks and going through the middle is something we've seen. I believe it was Rewhite against Rilakuma, maybe? We saw a game where Rewhite basically had to play out of his mind, just kiting back over and over and over again with the Stalkers, leading him into stasis traps over and over, and it looked like a pretty tight hold, so it's definitely a strong approach.
Yeah, it really is. And we'll see if we get a repeat of that, or if we get a taste of that here in this game. Again, I'm also making some assumptions. When I think of BreakingGG, I don't necessarily think of a late game player. I don't think that's really what he enjoys out of the game. So I don't really expect that from him, which is why, my eyes are kind of peeled here for any kind of Roach timings, any kind of lair timings as well with how he wants to approach Neo-Humanity, which I imagine is the map that he typically does veto.
Yeah, something else that we've seen a lot as well, especially with this layout of bases, where you've got the front base, is taking the rich front base as your third base.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, and once you take that base, you're so close to the Protoss base. Like it's a really small map. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we've seen that kind of fall out of favor, right? Like we saw that a lot in IEM, and we saw that a lot kind of post IEM as well. I don't think we ever really saw it fail. Like, but
it was Reynor and Cyril that I remember mostly seeing doing it. Like Reynor was doing it in every matchup as well.
100%, mate. 100. The two of them were crazy with it, but we weren't really able to see much of that later on. But maybe it's because, if you remember, we saw that from Reynor in WTL, from in the weeks preceding IEM Katowice. We haven't really casted much of Reynor since then. He has been, taking a break, streaming League of Legends.
Yeah.
Maybe once we do get into the proper season, he'll whip it out again. He'll whip it out.
I wonder if he's improving in League of Legends, because I saw he got coaching with like a top league player, but
oh my god.
I mean, I know he's concentrating on his YouTube as well.
Yeah.
He got a good thumbnail, guy. His thumbnails look really good. That's how you know that a YouTube's gonna do well.
True.
Thumbnails.
It's all about the thumbnails. It's all about the arrows specifically. It's how big they are, how squiggly they are. It's the.
I hate that that's still a thing. I just assumed that would stop being like the YouTube thumbnail meta, but it just isn't.
It's the arrow, and it's also
and
like
it's the title with the arrow pointing to the like duck face.
Yeah. I was gonna say you need the face. You need you need the O face or the duck face. You need some kind of big face.
When are you gonna make YouTube videos like it? That was perfect.
They couldn't see the Twitch chat. They couldn't see. Oh no.
Can you imagine?
Oh my god. But hopefully these players they don't have to resort to making YouTube thumbnails.
I want to have we can do it it'll be like ESL Open Cup Korea 56, and then it'll have you on the front just like making like a crying face, and it's like, you won't believe how few Zergs make it to the final.
True. Oh my god. I'd have to do something special because today was 169.
Oh. I don't think that's allowed on YouTube.
Upload it to a different site. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. Very special. As Spatz is going to be getting his third without too much interruption this time. But okay. Yeah. You were talking about it. You were talking about BreakingGG not being a player to go to the later game. We have a Queen Ling Nidus, and I think this is a really great response as well to an Oracle player. It can be pretty hard to get anything done against this. As there we go. The Nidus does finish.
Can we transfuse? Can we transfuse? Oh my god, do you have the transfuse available? It looks like the Nidus will go down, but a second Nidus is on the way, and a lot of queens made it out.
Yeah, we've got a Ling run by into the natural as well, so really testing the skills, but Spatz GG's out and BreakingGG. No way.
Wow. Oh my god. Invictus Gaming. How big is this man's feet?
Mate,
he takes the tour.
He goes over, walks over to high five XY and trips over his feet, falls and hits his head.
Oh my. He's out, Poppy. He's out for the count.
He's gone. Taking a nap.
Oh my god. But he did his job, mate. He took the tour over who I would say is the best player, the ace player in a Berserker eSports. They're not kidding around, by the way. Look at the lineup. They've got Spatz, they've got BattleB, and they've got DIMAGA. And for BreakingGG to come out with the cheese, to come out with the all-ins, and to take the 2-0, wow, what a way to start for Invictus Gaming. What a way.
Yeah, very nicely done by BreakingGG. Good choice of builds here as well. And for Berserker eSports here, yeah, they've got it all to do now. And I believe this is the first time actually I've casted BattleB playing for them. Maybe it's my Terran bias, but I personally feel like BattleB is their strongest player. I don't know if that's true, but I know that BattleB is a very strong player. I mean, I remember him playing against Migs and they had a very tight match.
Yeah. I mean, we have casted a lot more of BattleB, right? Like he's a little bit more of a player with the limelight on him. You know, he's a player that a lot of people are looking at as an up and coming, strong and powerful Terran player in the European region. But he's up against someone who all the growth that typically goes to the feet, they all went to his head, mate. You know, he's got the biggest brain, the biggest mindset.
His head's huge.
He's got
a 6 head.
Oh my god. The 6 head, the king of mindset. It's going to be BattleB versus XY.
The 10 head, mate. The 10 out of 10.
Oh, 10 out of 10, Papi. Let's go. Clearly, I mean, we were talking about this a couple of days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
How it would be really weird to not have that meme in WTL, right?
I was just thinking that. I think I'm cheering for IG now because I want them to get through so I can see if they change the hexagon and they still give XY 10 mental.
That's the thing, right? He needs the 10 mental. We need that really odd stat.
I need to know.
Oh my god.
I want it to be like even more one-sided now.
Oh my god.
5, 5, 5, 10.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so we have our personal reasons to cheer for IG, but again, like it's heartbreaking because I want both of these teams to make it through. Berserker eSports have a solid lineup, they're a solid team, there are solid players on it as well. They're deserving to be in Code S just like IG, but there can only be one.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be a very intense TBT that we've got coming up, especially on Ancient System, a bit of a larger map. Can be harder to make cheesy builds work for sure. So I am going to be expecting a bit of a longer game, and I think that's where BattleB's strengths lie as well. He's a very strong late game TBT player.
Yeah, he's very strong, I think when we think of BattleB, he's very standard as well. You know, he's very macro oriented, and on a map like Ancient Cistern, this could benefit him as well. But I wonder, because I also don't necessarily think that XY is the most aggressive player. We have seen some aggression out of him. We have seen some all-ins out of him before. I think I remember, was it XY on Moondance against like Sound or something? Like there was some crazy match last season that I do recall from XY. But XY definitely did snipe some Protosses, and unfortunately, when I think about Protosses getting sniped in upset, Sound's probably the first person that comes to mind. It's happened to him a few too many times, unfortunately. Yeah. Look, it's not his fault. It just happens to be that way. Smooch. Much love to Sound. Much love to Sound. We are going to be getting ready for this. It's going to be difficult to predict here, but as you said, and I want to believe that as well. You know, BattleB is a recent pickup here from Berserker eSports, and I do think that he can make a series out of this. That if anyone's going to put a point on the board here, it's going to be BattleB.
Yeah, exactly, and I think TVT as well is one of those matchups where it's a little bit hard to take an upset, especially in more of a drawn-out macro game. I think when players are even, it can be completely scrappy all over the place. It just comes down to whoever's playing better on the day, but I do feel like BattleB has a small advantage here. It'll be interesting to see as well how he's going to play, because I remember he was very heavily reliant on Viking Raven, which is fairly out of the meta these days. I'm curious to see if he's picked up on more of this lib-based style that Spirit's been playing a lot and having a lot of success with.
Yeah, I think that's really important to take note of, and that's the fact that we just haven't really been able to see too much from BattleB this year, right? Like, I feel like a lot of the coverage on him was in 2022, so I am curious as well as to how he's performing post Katowice, how much he has been improving over all of this time as well. I'm just double checking, and he has had some pretty impressive results here. He actually did recently 2-0 Ageddon, as well as taking down Vindicta. But here we go. We are getting into our game, and in the bottom left-hand corner, it's XY.
And in the top right-hand corner, in the blue for Berserker, this is BattleB. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh. Is it feet related?
No. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I was kind of hoping you would complain about TVT so I could laugh at you, but I was watching that ZVZ today. I was watching Dark vs Ragnarok.
It was beautiful.
You can't complain about TVT ever again.
What do you mean? It was 40 minutes of action.
It was awful.
It was Viper versus Viper for 40 minutes. What do you mean?
It's the worst. It's actually the worst. I was so smudged. Me and Craig were in the voice called Balance whining about Zerk in a ZVZ.
It's so broken, Bobby. Look at this. True. I mean, late game ZVZ is actually awful. It's actually the worst thing
bad,
in StarCraft.
Vipers, yoinking Vipers into spores, spores.
Yeah. It's what it's become. It's what it has become.
And Dark had like 13,000 gas, so it was just never in question what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was just Dark just out trading Ragnarok for like 40 minutes. But it was slow. Yeah.
There was one point where Dark had lost like 5 lurkers and Ragnarok had lost like 30 or something like that. Kind of insane.
It's crazy, man. It was crazy. Thankfully, we don't get too many of those late game ZVZ scenarios. I don't think anyone likes it other than Dark. Dark, like, yeah. he
Dark sometimes he... I thought Ragnarok initiated because I noticed at the end of the game he only had +1 melee. So surely.
No, it was Ragnarok got an early lead, so Dark was like, "Oh, I'll just turtle."
He did the Mario thing. I see.
Yeah. He's done that before. He did that against Scarlet a couple of weeks ago as well. It was so smooch.
It's pretty brutal. It's like I know it's smart and I know it's a good way to play, but it's pretty savage.
Yeah. It's just, you know what? I'm just gonna say no to everything that you're doing, and we're just gonna be here for 30 minutes. Okay.
As turning our attention to the game as well. Looks like we have mirrored builds out of these players. Both players going to be going for Reactor, Reaper into Hellion here. So it should roughly cancel each other out, really. I don't expect to see this going too heavily in either person's favor. They're completely even so far.
Yeah, we were kind of mentioning this a little bit, nothing too fancy out of these openers. It does kind of track onto what we believe about these players. I guess the advantage may just be the defender's advantage. I mean, we do see XY sitting here on top of the ramp, and BattleB is moving out.
Yeah, BattleB already being a little bit aggressive with his first Reaper. And yeah, he's going to move out. Leads with the Hellion, which I like. Looks up any mine or anything like that, and it can pull away like this. So yeah. Gets away with being the aggressive one.
Yeah, there we go. They both bounced off each other, and now we're going to be continuing this build. Ooh, XY, he's going for a tank and medevac follow-up.
Yeah, it's going to be the tank drop follow-up. This is something that we've seen Maru been doing a lot, going heavy Reaper Hellion builds into a tank drop, and I think it is becoming just generally a very popular build in the meta because of how big the mains are. There's a lot of very abusive spots you can get into where basically you're going to lose maybe like a depot or an add-on or something like that. And I mean, with this build, you don't need to get too much more than that. You're just looking to pick off a few units here and there, put on a bit of harass damage. You don't have to do anything crazy, as long as you don't lose the tank or medevac.
Yeah, I mean, it's important you point that out though, because we'll see how solid BattleB's defense is going to be. He does have a Cyclone, I believe, defensively, so he has the opportunity to maybe get a lock on a key unit. He's working on his own tank, on his own Raven, as well as XY is sneaking into that main.
Okay, XY doing this very aggressively, going for the tank on the high ground, and I'm not sure about this. I think this is going to get focused down immediately, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. So XY being very greedy with his tank, I think he could have gotten away with just putting it on the low ground and taking this depot out.
Exactly. He wanted a little bit more damage, and he gets punished for it. We can see here losing a tank, 3 Marines, and a Reaper, and losing that tank is going to be a pretty big blow here. It is a pretty big pick-off this early in the game.
Yeah, so XY in response going to be throwing down his third on location. I think this is a good way to get himself back in the lead, of course, but it is kind of scary as well. I mean, the thing that makes this particularly scary is he's behind in Ravens and tanks because he lost that tank and because he wasn't making a Raven, he was making a medevac. And that means that BattleB is going to have a very strong push. And the third being on the low ground means that XY has to fight the push. So I'm a
Yeah.
little bit worried about him.
Yeah, bear in mind that BattleB did spot that as well. He did have a Hellion across the map that did end up catching the timing of the third TC. So BattleB is sending everything across the map as we speak. He's about to be laying siege upon that third base, and we'll see what XY has to defend. Observe it. Let's go.
Yeah, and this is where you see the Raven difference kind of exacerbated. This base is in trouble. It is going to finish. I think it should be able to get away without losing too much health, but actually if the Cyclone gets a lock on, this is going to be pretty close.
Yeah, at the same time, we do have a drop into the main base, but we have a defensive tank. We have some reinforcements. The medevac does go down to the Vikings. We land them, and XY's drop is going to get cleaned up.
Very well handled by BattleB. Fantastic multitasking, and he's going to net himself a really nice lead as a result.
He really will, and... we can see the units lost, the resources lost as well. They tell a pretty big tale.
Yeah, BattleB trading better than 2-1 here. That's brutal for a TVT. And he's kept his tanks alive. He's kept his Ravens alive as well. These are things that just continue to add up as the game goes on, especially the Raven. So XY's in a very tough spot here. You can see just how bad it looks for him, that his tank count is so low. This is going to be very hard to hold anything. And yeah, there we go. BattleB, he doesn't care that he's only on 2 base. He's just going to charge on in there.
Yeah, we just have the disable on that low ground tank. The Vikings are going to land as well. The boys are being pulled, and they're going to get annihilated. They are getting on top of the tanks, to be fair. And with this XY, with even a flanking auto turret, is going to be able to just kind of clean this up. Oh.
Yeah, I think that was an overextension by BattleB. I don't know how necessary it really is to try to break on the natural like that, but I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, he got the SCB damage he needed. He's 23 workers ahead now, and he's still applying pressure.
Yeah, it's one of those things where XY, he is able to persist in this game, but he may have just also killed himself as well, you know? It's just... but what else could he have done, right? In that situation with BattleB pushing into him, it was really one of the only options.
Yeah, I have no idea what you do from here as XY. There's not really that many ways you can get back into a game in TVT, except maybe just a massive Doom drop, and we see he is making medevacs.
Yeah, you know, there can definitely be a moment, especially if BattleB decides to move out again. Maybe XY can move in and end up with a weird base trade where XY takes control of the main base and the main ramp as well. Like, there is a world where that can happen, but he does have to amass those medevacs, and BattleB also has to kind of allow that to happen in a way. But I believe, yeah, we have a sensor tower being thrown down.
Yeah, so BattleB just going to be setting up defensively here, which is definitely something that he is strong at. One thing we can point out is XY is very, very far ahead on this 1-1. I don't think he has the money to go into 2-2, so if the game goes on, it's not really going to matter too much, but at least for the moment, he's going to have that upgrade advantage for the next minute or so if he does attack now.
True, he really will. And looking at the map, can he find an angle here? I mean, we do have a sensor tower covering the area into the main base, so going in that direction is going to be a little bit difficult. Oh my god, there's even Vikings and Ravens patrolling that area, so maybe going to the natural from the south instead, maybe the option as XY is moving out.
Yeah, BattleB doing a really good job spreading vision all across the map, and XY is trying to dodge that vision. He knows that the only chance that he really has is this big Doom drop. He's going to get spotted by the Artosa loop there.
Oh,
I think that's what that is. Hopefully he's not working for BattleB.
Hopefully not, hopefully not. As he's going to try... Oh, is he going to try and skirt around the northern portion of the map? That's where the Vikings are.
Yeah. And BattleB knows what he's doing. He's a very strong defensive player. Great scan from XY. That's fantastic.
He averts disaster. We can see a world, we've seen it before, where the Doom drop comes in and there's just Vikings and Ravens waiting for it anyway. But in a couple of seconds, 1-1 is about to finish off for BattleB, so that timing that you're talking about is no longer available for XY.
Yeah, and there we go. BattleB starting up 2-2 straight away, so he will be effectively evening up the upgrades. Landing his 4th now, so he is just continuing to extend his lead. Nice choice by XY as well to not commit to this Doom drop yet. I mean, I don't think he has a choice really, but BattleB, fantastic little run by with the double drop here, and this might just be the final nail in the coffin here for XY. He's going to be struggling to deal with this, and actually the CC's in trouble now. Yeah, the CC's going to go down. He's Giga all in. He has to commit, but at the same time, the Ravens disable 2 of those tanks, and XY, his army crumbles. BG, great defensive TVT from BattleB, and mentally it's going to be hard to come back for that one for XY, but if anyone can do it, if anyone has the mental to handle that, May.
Mate. Exactly. XY, mate, you think he's phased at all by this game? Nah, mate, you know, he was just clowning a little bit. He went for that tank drop into the main, was just being a little bit greedy. You know, it's you know, he was just having some fun. I'm sure he can bring it all back, and I'm sure he has the mentality to do so without being too hindered by this. Let's go, Poppy. We're going into game 2.
With that 10 in mental, do you reckon that's a chappy 10 in mental? Like, do you reckon he comes into this next game and goes, if you don't cheese me, BattleB, I'm gonna destroy you. I know I'm the better player. I'm coming into this one as the better player.
It's possible. I hope not quite like Chappy. I think that's that's not what we want. I don't think anyone wants that. Shaking my head, Chappy. Shaking my head. But we are getting ready for that second game. XY, he does pick Babylon as his map of choice.
Okay, Babylon's a map that can be a lot more scrappy in TVT. You can lose very quickly just by getting sieged up in a rough position, especially with a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-ins as well is something that maybe I just haven't been watching that much TVT, but I feel like it was very popular at IEM and kind of went out of fashion a little bit, but we'll see if he goes for it. Here he is in the top left for IG. This is XY.
Oh, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner for Berserker eSports, it is BattleB. Okay, the TVTs will continue, and maybe XY, you know, again, humbled a little bit for maybe some disrespect that he did have for his opponent, you know? But it's okay, he's going to be able to wind it all back here. Speaking of winding it back, shout out to the sponsors as well. Shout out to, check out Rio.
Yeah.
It's the other one. It's the Lightning. Is that Kai Z?
Perhaps.
Maybe.
It can be if you want it to be.
Yeah. So shout out to Hypergriff, Trio, Rio, TGI Fridays, Doyu, and that beautiful lightning bolt. That is not Ted. It's not Ted. I thought it was Ted.
Like the Mark Wahlberg movie, Ted.
We've had this conversation before.
Want you to sponsor my StarCraft.
It's Todd McFarlane, right? He was the guy. Yeah.
Whatever. All right. So XY is going to be going for a fast expand this time. I like it, mixing things up. And this is a good map for it as well. It's very defensible with the ramp. And it's also a map that is very unlikely to come up against Turax Reaper. Just because, I mean, when you play Turax Reaper on this map, you can pretty much only go up the double jump and you just get destroyed if there's anything waiting for you at the top.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a kind of a good kind of position here to take, to go for a more economic opener here for XY. And yeah, it may kind of benefit him in the end. It's going to be a little bit on BattleB. It's going to be on him more to try and get some damage done in the early game, or maybe not. We'll see how he does kind of approach the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. As we do to see BattleB going for a very standard build. Also, BattleB, I believe, didn't scout in the first game, so I can see why XY would, you know, go for a bit of a greedier build as well, just assuming that he probably won't get scouted. I think he might have even skipped his Reaper. That is crazy. Okay, no, he does have his Reaper.
Yeah, thankfully he does have his Reaper. It does survive as well. BattleB's, I mean, as he is able to escape with it. And yeah, defensively back at home, we do see, you know, a bunker on the way as well, just to solidify our position here for XY. I'm not too sure if BattleB was able to get too much scouting information before he ran into the Reaper of XY.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has seen this bunker as, this could have some success. You can see as well how that double jump is pretty annoying for those Reapers, but they should be able to win this fight. Nice micro coming out from BattleB. Actually going to be keeping both of these Reapers alive, and he will get a full scout on the main now.
Yeah, there we go. He gets into the main base. How many SCVs is he going to get as well? One SCV already falling down, and he, barely doesn't get the second.
Yeah, Hellion pops out at the perfect time, and good job from XY not being too greedy. Did get that Hellion, which is a little bit of an extra safety measure. Goes for the Viking as well. So yeah, XY playing this very safely.
Yeah, he's playing this safe overall. Viking on the way, tank as well, not too far behind. Likewise, BattleB, as we do typically expect with these openers, just like the last game, we have our Raven and Cyclone follow-up.
Yeah, so there's a few different approaches to when you're playing double gas against fast expand like this. One is that you can go for a tank drop, and the other one is just throw down a very early third. So that looks like exactly what BattleB is going to do. And because of the potential of BattleB going for a push, XY I don't think can really throw down a third this early. Okay, it looks like he will anyway. But it's kind of like, you remember when we were casting Hearthstone and when he plays against the gate expands, he just doesn't make units and he just takes his own nexus really early. It's basically the same idea as that. I think that's what BattleB is trying to do here.
Yeah, and I do think it does make sense, right, as a way to catch back up, especially if your opponent is going to be going for a more economic opener and you find out a little bit, afterwards. So it's a great way to kind of adapt your build and to make up for that.
Yeah, and you can see right there, he even cancels the Marines to get an earlier swap, stacking those Vikings coming out as well. Meanwhile here for XY, he's gone for much earlier Raxes. That is, I guess one of the advantages of of the faster economy. But yeah, he's going to be going for this more Marine-focused opening, delaying his Medivacs or Vikings. And I think we're going to see a similar matchups of builds where XY is looking to be aggressive, go for drops, pull BattleB out of position, and BattleB is looking to be defensive and use those Vikings to snipe the Medivacs.
Yeah, and I don't blame him because that's kind of where he found a lot of success in the first game, right? He just kind of waited for XY to push into him, traded more efficiently, and then he was able to go for those counterattacks as well. So, why try to fix what isn't broken? As we do see a bit of a scan into the main base of XY, and we do get a revelation of the timing of the CC of the entire main, essentially.
Yeah, it's the mech check. It's a moment of truth.
Oh.
Where you find out if you're going to be real sad or not.
Oh, I find out when the mech is in my face.
When it arrives. Yeah. I find out when I hear the BC telephone.
Regardless, of course, we do see that third base being taken. We do see a little bit of Raven harass as well going into the main base by XY. And I see down, 2 SCVs, 3 SCVs go down.
Okay, good little bit of aggression. I wouldn't mind maybe a turret going back down in range of these Raxes. And yeah, there we go. That's exactly what he's going to do. So he'll be able to delay the build on that.
Yeah, exactly. Not too bad. Even gets a little bit of damage done on that Viking as well. At the same time, BattleB is moving out across the map. He's in position to deny this third CC. And these Vikings are doing a lot of damage, by the way.
Yeah, great timing here by BattleB. Scouts out that the third was landing with his Marine and then jumps straight on in there. The tank is well placed for XY, going to be taking out the Cyclone, but once again, I mean, we saw the effect that this had in the previous game. Being denied from mining your third can be something that snowballs a little bit. I think in this case, XY is so far ahead in workers that he should be fine.
Yeah, he does have that lead. Unfortunately, he had to lift up and kind of maneuver around his third base for a little bit, but now he's going to be able to take it on location. BattleB does back off and does give him the room to do so. And yeah, we'll see if he's able to work with these drops that we were talking about earlier, if he's able to kind of maneuver around with that army as he is looking to just posture for now.
Yeah, and he's going to have the earlier upgrades again, so just a little bit of a difference in the build orders of the two players. Because he hasn't been hurt in the economy like he was last time, he's going to be able to get that 2-2 a lot faster as well. And yeah, here we go. We have the first attack coming in, so looks like he's going to be sending this double drop around to the main and then trying to hit the third at the same time.
Once again, BattleB, he's got his Vikings. No, but they do get distracted by the main army. He did end up scanning, does confirm its location, but did he notice that there were no Medivacs with it as the Vikings do move forward?
Interesting. XY actually going to siege almost between the bases here. This is quite a curious way to approach it, but he sees that he's brought the Vikings out of position, and that's going to be his signal to go. He dives straight into the main. Very quick SUV pull by BattleB. Great stuff there, but this can do a lot of damage. He can be looking for eBays, maybe the add-on. Looks like he's going to, go for the add-on and snipe out combat shields.
Oh, nicely done. The combat shields does go down. It looks like this is a one-way trip because the Vikings are going to be able to focus down every single one of these Medivacs, but yeah, it looks like not even too many SUVs go down either.
Wow, XY actually snipes out almost every single Viking, and
Oh,
that was a really important advantage that BattleB had in this game. It's kind of out the
yeah.
window, so I was a little worried for XY that this drop wouldn't be worth it if he lost everything, but I think with getting the Vikings, it definitely is.
Yeah, especially because we have continued medevac production from XY. He's going to be continuing to go for this multi-prong or drop style, and it's going to be that much easier now that the Viking count has been reset.
Absolutely, and there we go. We do see Observer just pointing out for XY that he should start his 2-2 around now, and he's going to oblige. But XY continuing to shark around from this high ground here. This can be a pretty awkward angle to defend from, and I think the important thing for him as well is just keeping the pressure on. But oh, here we go. All the disables come down. Fantastic move from BattleB, and the Marines actually getting a bit stuck for XY.
Oh my god, every single tank is disabled. The Marines go down as well. That was a beautiful fight for BattleB. The power of the Raven, and also the power of the lack of Vikings as well, as there was no way to really vibe for that air superiority, and BattleB just shuts that push down.
Yeah, very clean from BattleB there, and really good patience as well to not use his Raven energy until then.
Yeah, essentially up until that point, he was quite conservative. He didn't waste any of that energy earlier. We do see that, though, that XY is not going to take this lying down. We do see another double drop coming in towards the north.
Yeah, double drop going to be sneaking around the backside here, and especially if he can make something else happen at the same time, it's going to be a great little bit of distraction. But okay, he's going to be coming straight in now, and oh, I feel like this is the most painful time to come in. Is when the turrets are halfway done, because it's when you stop thinking about the drops.
Smurge, Bobby Smurge, as the Marines go all the way into the main base. At the same time, XY's main army is setting up outside the third, but the tanks are already sieged, ready and waiting.
Yeah, I don't know if this is it. I mean, he takes down one of these tanks, but this is a lot of Marines for it. These tanks not in the most aggressive position for him either. They're going to be able to deny the gas, but not too much else. And I mean, BattleB is showing why he's such a strong defensive player. I think he has kind of taken the worst of it so far, and finds himself in a pretty decent spot now.
Oh, exactly. We do see even this one medevac can't make it into the main base because of all of those turrets. We see a decent tank line here set up from XY, and he's shelling away at the CC, but hopefully, yeah, he needs to get the hell out of here. He's only going to leave one tank behind as he's retreating back home.
I'm sure XY could appreciate this, though, because, you know, it's his whole thing having the mindset of the strong is to defend and sit back, and I think he actually said himself, not to throw him under the bus too hard, but he said it's the mindset of the weak to be attacking all the time.
True.
So BattleB's giving him his own lesson here.
Yeah, you know, maybe XY just feeling a little bit weak today, you know? It's yeah, everyone has some of those days. Oh god, as 3-3 is started up by XY, again maintaining that upgrade lead here as he does. To see sensor towers being thrown down, sensor towers being thrown down by both of our players as well, to try and hinder and deny these medevacs as well. XY looking for a way in, but BattleB does spot him.
This would be a fantastic time as well for XY to remember his own lesson, because he has the advantage of 3-3 on the way. He actually has 5 bases down as well. I think this 5th base just starting to finish up now. So he has a lot of advantages that will benefit him if he can survive to a later game. But this push from BattleB, it is terrifying. That's
the question. Can he survive? Because BattleB is rushing on forward. I don't believe he has any disables this time. The tanks are in position, but despite that, 12, 15 workers go down. The libs came in at the same time.
Very nicely done. This turret should finish up and clear that up, but that's pretty much all of XY's mining gone right now. You can see he is struggling to get any minerals. And the drop from BattleB, what fantastic timing.
Exactly. Unlike his opponent, there are no turrets here. There was nothing to scout this coming his way. The tanks all siege up, and we are taking control of the production.
Yeah, XY going to try to fan out and clean this up, but there's a lot of Marines still here, and his units get absolutely mincemeat. All the SCVs go down as well. 41 SCVs have gone down, and I think BattleB has done it. What a masterful game from BattleB. Really nicely done.
GG, well played. The choke point was insane, Papi, and unfortunately 3-3 could not come to pass. Neither could that 5th base, as you were saying. XY was not able to deflect that push to defend. We wasn't in position in the main base either. BattleB looking quite powerful here. Damn.
Yeah, the TVT master himself, using the mindset of the strong to great effect.
Oh, do you think? Okay, look, hold on. If Berserker eSports qualify for Code S, they have to give BattleB the 10 mindset.
Give him the 10, yeah.
And they have to run with the narrative that he was able to like absorb the brain of XY or take his power in that series when he 2-0'd mate. And he's gonna be the next XY. He's the next prophet.
I've found the quote here. It's on his Wikipedia under his trivia. He says he likes analyzing players' performance with his mindset theory, where a player with a mindset of the strong would prefer defending to avoid risk.
There you go. And BattleB, I didn't even know if he has read XY's book, but even if he hasn't, every day, he prays. He actually plays with it as his mouse pad. You know, it gives him strength, Papi. It gives him strength. Oh.
This makes me think of. Have you seen that the Artosis video where it's like how to get into the mind of the Protoss, and he's got like his cup set up over a book, and he pulls the cup away, and the book's Art of War. And he goes, "Let me get this out of the way." Pulls Art of War out of the way, and it's apes can play. The book underneath.
Ay. I mean, I'd like to think that BattleB doesn't have that book under of course XY's mantra, but who knows? Maybe we will be that revelation will be apparent later on in the season. But regardless, we have a series here, 2-0s for both teams, and now this is the tiebreaker. Who is gonna have a lead in this series? We're gonna be getting into DIMAGA versus MacSed.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to come down to this EVP, and these players similarly ranked on their respective servers here. DIMAGA, definitely a player that I feel like is more of the older camp of players like Cast as well, who've been around for a while. They're veterans of the scene, and they're still playing quite a lot. I mean, DIMAGA especially, I've seen a lot of him lately, but MacSed as well is a player that I feel like is kind of only becoming stronger over the years and is always a Protoss to watch out for.
Definitely, like both these players have been around for quite some time. They both have very unique styles as well. DIMAGA is typically very aggressive. I do kind of take note that he's one to kind of feign, and he shies away from droning up too much. He shies away from taking too many bases. Very hyper focused on his army and on his engagements instead. Meanwhile, MacSed, likewise, when I think of him, I do think of, I don't know, like a player who does focus on a more straight up, I don't want to say macro oriented. He can cheese, of course, but a more solid style as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they shape up because they're from different regions and we don't see them play against each other too often.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly see MacSed's PvT. So when I think of MacSed, I just think of a maxed out army of Zealot Colossus on 60 probes, just A moving, but we'll have to see how he approaches this matchup, as here he is in the top left-hand corner for IG, the red Protoss, MacSed.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have DIMAGA.
Alright, so it all could come down to this. If either of these players can get a 2-0, they will secure their team's path into Code S. But I mean, if the rest of these games have been anything to go by, I think we're going to be looking at an ace match.
We could look to go to an ace match. I feel like BattleB would be a solid choice for that. When it comes to IG, who would they want to send out as well? It's going to be a little bit tricky. They could try and snipe BattleB as well because I do think it's a more obvious choice for Berserker eSports. But before that happens, of course, we do have this series before us. And interestingly enough, we are on Neo Humanity.
We are. So Neo Humanity going to be the pre-selected map here, which, you know, possibly a little bit rough with DIMAGA, but as you were saying, if he is more of an aggressive player, I think this isn't going to be the worst thing for him.
Yeah, and it also depends on the kind of aggression we see from DIMAGA as well. I don't know if I've seen too many queen pushes from him. Roach timings, definitely though, so we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, MacSed is the kind of Protoss player to totally take advantage of this map, to turtle up, get up to 4 bases, and maybe even rush into Sky Toss if he sees an opportunity for it.
Ugh. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
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 I mean, any map you're going to do it on, I think this is probably the best map for it.
Mhm. I've seen too much of it recently.
Yeah. I don't love it.
Yeah. I saw a lot of it in actually GPO. Actually, funnily enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Beastler. Yeah,
Beastalk?
yeah, he smudged Demi with it.
I thought he was a Twilight Council all-in kind of fella.
Oh yeah, he mixed it up. You know, he did, he did that too. He did it all, Poppy. He did it all. As we are getting into this, and MacSed is actually going for a bit of a Stargate opener here.
All right, so yeah, opening on up with the Stargate here. Not going to be making use of the small map to go for anything aggressive like a Glaives or Blinkstalker all in. Instead, going to be looking to be the more defensive player here, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep an eye on that production tab to see whether an Oracle or a Void Ray comes out first from MacSed. I'd be personally surprised if he does go for a standard 3 Oracle into Twilight Council Blink Stalker on this map. I do think there are other avenues to take, other ways to take advantage of things. As DIMAGA is actually making a decent amount of links here, we'll see if he can keep up with his Adept and minimize that damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if MacSed's Adept got sight of those extra links that just popped out there. Although it does look like they're just for safety. So just a few extra here for safety in case it was a 2 Adept push.
Exactly. Just in case. We're droning up behind this. We just have some links for safety. They are going to be moving out across the map, and hey, they're going to be able to force a delay on a 3rd Nexus if it was to be thrown down. But we can see that MacSed is not doing anything of the sort. But he is going to be moving out with his Depths and Oracle.
Yeah, there we go. So this is a force that can help secure the 3rd bases. Yeah, we do see that Overlord floating over there to that kind of dead space area. I feel like I get so triggered by that spot on this map. I feel like it has to have been an oversight by the map maker. It's pretty crazy that you can't kill anything that's in there without an air unit.
Yeah, balance, Poppy, balance.
Hey.
I don't know anything about that spot. I don't play this map.
Okay.
Now I know.
I'll give you a free pass. As, yeah, DIMAGA looking poised to play a pretty standard game so far, as is MacSed. He's going to be taking those gases a little bit earlier, which is something that we commonly see if they go for the Robo, and yep, the Robo goes down now. But apart from that, he is set up to go for that standard kind of Oracle Stalker style that we see so much in PvZ.
Yeah, definitely. As well, yeah, he's switching things up and going for the Zealot style instead. You know, both of them, of course, have been quite trendy here in the PvZ matchup. The early Robo is interesting to me just because it can kind of lead to more defensive play, and we can get into faster Immortals and faster Disruptors if we so choose. We have a lot of links on the way here from DIMAGA. It looks like he wants to maybe try and fight for that 3rd.
Yeah, and I don't think MacSed is looking to be defensive here. Going up to 8 gates, getting charge +1, getting that War Prism right away, as well as that Templar Archive. So I think we are going to be seeing a very early Archon Zealot push here. And this is something that, yeah, we've seen players increasingly go for this in PvZ. And I think on a small map, it's a really fantastic choice.
I think so as well. And at the same time, how will this pair up against what DIMAGA is doing? Because he has cut drones here at 43, a very low drone count. The Oracle is going to get sniped as it tries to go into the main base, which means we have very limited scouting available for MacSed, as we have Roaches and Lings that are going to be flooding across the map. It looks like the Queens are headed over as well.
Yeah, great queen movement there by DIMAGA, but as you're saying, it is going to be interesting to see how these builds match up. I don't think the Archons are going to be that impactful. I mean, they can help with the Lings for sure, but Roaches tend to do quite well against Archons. It's more the Zealots that I'm a little bit worried about. If MacSed can get a good Zealot count up, that can be really rough for the Roaches as well. It's all going to come down to whether MacSed has his army all together when he takes the fight.
Yeah, I mean, already we have Zelty on the left-hand side. They're going to get surrounded by these things. +1 melee. Ooh, 10 seconds away, so a bit of an anti-timing for DIMAGA. At the same time, he's getting himself the Prism! Up!
Ooh!
Up. Oh.
Is that looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that little trade there with the Zealots, maybe DIMAGA thinking that he already had that +1, but he is still going to be able to take all of those out.
Yeah, the Zealots all do go down. Now DIMAGA has the momentum. He has the map control. He does confirm some of this army. He commits, by the way. The shield batteries are not done. There's no shield battery available at all.
Oh, the Archon goes down. The second Archon going to be going down as well. So looks like DIMAGA just pushing straight on through, and MacSed's in huge trouble here.
He is in huge trouble. We have an overcharge, but the shield battery is exposed. It's going to be going down. An Immortal is popping out, but there's so much on the ground. The Ling Ravager is going to be too much. The Archon under threat. Nice juggling here with these 2 units, but the wall's not a wall.
Oh, yeah, the wall is wide open. That means these Ling's going to continue to put pressure on, and the Archon goes down.
Oh, the Archon goes down. The Immortal will stand strong, and 2 more shield batteries will finish up. But what about the third base? The third base is completely exposed, and DIMAGA can at least get that. He's getting on top of the Immortal! Up!
No, the Immortal being held down in place by the Lings. Looks like the Prism is going to be able to get it, but he still threatens his third. And behind this, DIMAGA just flooding Lings, and I just don't know how we're going to be able to get up enough suppliers, MacSed, to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. DIMAGA had the option if he wanted to drone up, but no, he's just hammering down that Z key. He wants to break this third base. The Immortals are doing quite well as that Immortal. Like, we only have a handful of units here for MacSed, but he is making the most out of them.
Yeah, every Ling goes down. Really nice juggling by MacSed, and DIMAGA actually going to be pushed back here.
He is being pushed back, but is he luring MacSed into a false sense of security? Because again, DIMAGA, he's still not training. He's still just making army unit after army unit. He wants to go for the kill. Oh, but we do have a disruptor on the way.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned for DIMAGA now. He didn't really get that much probe damage. He didn't kill the Nexus either. I feel like he was kind of in 2 minds about going for the kill or taking out the third Nexus, and it might come back to haunt him here.
It may. I mean, the Queens are now going to take part in this next fight, so DIMAGA is going to have far more firepower this time. There's only 1 disruptor as well. If DIMAGA is able to avoid that Nova, then he can still take a fight, but we now have 3 Archons.
Yeah, and this is where the disruptor really comes in handy, is this kind of no creep push situation is, almost every Ling goes down.
Yeah, massive Nova on those Lings. The Lings all get eviscerated, and now it's just Roach Queen against 3 Archons and 2 Immortals. With the help of a shield battery, with the help of the micro from the Prism as well, nothing is dying.
Really nice micro coming out from MacSed. And he looks like he was in such a horrible position here, but he's finally held here. He takes out the last of the roaches. It's only queens remaining, and those queens, they are running for their life here, but looks like MacSed has held.
Yeah, I do agree with you that I do think that if DIMAGA had just focused on the third, just forgotten about the natural, then he would have gotten a kill there. He would have gotten some secure damage. He smelled blood in the water though, but really it may have just been his own blood because MacSed held beautifully.
Yeah, and with that, MacSed going to be going for the counter-attack. Plenty of roaches here to deal with this. Being a little bit careless with the disruptor, but there we go. The disruptor going to be taking out the last of the roaches. GG is called, and man, nice hold in such a scary-looking spot there.
MacSed was not prepared at all, by the way. Remember, when the army showed up to his third, he didn't have a single shield battery ready. Like, there was nothing ready for it. He was throwing them down in a panic as well. And the initial like War Prism micro was kind of lacking, if you recall. You know, a couple too many Archons were getting picked off. That's why we were worried for him. That's why I'm sure DIMAGA just kept on pushing and wanted to go for the throat. But where MacSed was lacking defenses at his third, he had them at his natural.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like we were saying, maybe committing into that natural, not the best choice, but you can also see some of the features of the map coming into that, where that natural is very choked up and very far away from the probes as well. It is a little bit hard to find attacking angles here, and maybe he knows that with this build, even if he takes out the third, it's not enough.
It's possible. It's very possible, just because of how all-in DIMAGA was, and he was very all-in. You know, off of 43 drones, he was just Ling Roach flooding. So I don't blame him whatsoever. Unfortunately, it does mean that DIMAGA does lose that first game, and he needs to win this second game here if he wants to force the ace match.
Yeah, absolutely. So MacSed, he has the chance here to do it for Invictus Gaming, to get them into Code S, save them from the stress of an ace match.
Exactly. MacSed, he is so close for doing it all for his team, for Invictus Gaming. One more win is all he needs, as DIMAGA's map of choice is going to be Ancient Cistern.
There we go. So yeah, DIMAGA looking to have a bit more room to work with here, some more open bases to attack into as well.
definitely. Meanwhile, were you watching Briz Vegas Land?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Chase, because I was casting with him yesterday, he brought up the fact that this is a toilet bowl, apparently. As in the bottom of the head corner, we have DIMAGA.
And the top right-hand corner here for IG, this is MacSed.
I remember listening to the cast, and both Moonglade and Sano were all over that throughout the entire day, and I was like, what? But apparently, they were calling it ancient toilet bowl because apparently cistern is another word for like an old like basin or something like that.
Cistern's just a bowl on a toilet.
Yeah, the bowl, yeah. It was odd, just because I didn't like it either, but they just kept talking. They just kept bringing it up, and I was like, it was weird.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, okay.
It's like green and nice. It's luscious.
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's not very toilet-like.
If like the terrain itself had like mimicked it, then sure. But like otherwise, it's just a name. Like it's not.
If it was porcelain white map, maybe.
True.
Like, this looks like the kind of place that a toilet would ruin it. I would just poop in the bushes, you know. Be one with nature. Maybe into the waterfall. That's a bit impolite. Maybe someone wants to go swimming in the waterfall.
What are you saying right now?
It'd just be one with nature. You wouldn't want to ruin it with a toilet.
Yeah. You know, if you're out there, if you're in the outback of Australia, you know why use a toilet?
True.
As, of course, massive shout out to all the sponsors of this event. TGI Fridays, Hypergriff, Trader, Rio, and Ted. Shout out.
Yeah. Let's go.
Look, mate, I'll be honest. I'm really looking. Am I looking forward to it? Maybe I am. What ads they're going to be running here for the sponsors? Are we going to get a full-on anime waifu ad? That's what I want.
Oh, we actually are.
Yeah.
100% are.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I didn't really think about that.
I think it's smart, you know, like we're gonna be targeting the weeb demographic, the untapped Japan weeaboos, you know?
God. Too many of you.
You watch Food Wars! You're a part of the problem.
No. I didn't put it on. It wasn't my Netflix account. I'm not responsible.
You didn't put it on, but you stood there and you watched.
I sat down.
You sat down.
Sat down in the beanbag.
The pants were off. Oh,
we don't need to. Don't need to go that far. It's true, but we don't need to talk about that.
Oh my god, as we're getting into this, and this is a really interesting map choice here for DIMAGA, just because of how large it is. Considering his aggressive tendencies, yeah, personally, I'm quite surprised by the map pick.
Yeah, I mean, you picked out a Zerg player going 12 pull on this map just because it seems so unlikely, and that's why they did it. So maybe we have the same perspective, but on a more of a broader scale.
True. I have seen Mondo. Go for these roach all-ins of roach timings on Ancient Cistern. So maybe DIMAGA is of a like-minded mindset to that. We'll see. As third base is being taken, we do have a standard opener from MacSed going for a Stargate into an Oracle, into a Twilight Council behind that, and a Forge.
You see Mondo took down Nice.
Yeah, I was casting it. Yeah.
Animal.
It's crazy, mate. It was a really intense series. Oh my god. As we do see a wave of links coming across the map from DIMAGA. We do have the first Oracle zooming across the map. Oh, nice kind of spore trick there, able to keep that drone alive.
Yeah, nicely done. As we do see MacSed just going to be going into the exact same build here. So just going to be committing pretty lightly to the Oracles and going for the Robo quite quickly after his Twilight. And yeah, charge once again. Looks like he's just happy with this style and is going to continue to use it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he didn't get to kind of have his build come to full fruition in that first game, to bloom, if you will, and now he'll be able to pull that off. He's going to have a little bit of extra leeway. On the other side of the map, DIMAGA is droning. He's droning far more than he ever did in the last game, continuing to make workers, and he is teching up as well into that lair, into that roach one. He's looking further ahead into this game.
Yeah, I like it. DIMAGA looking to play the more defensive role. So, as you were saying, we're going to see what MacSed had planned for that last game. And on a bit of a larger map, it's not going to hit as hard as it might have. But yeah, it's going to be the exact same build. He's going to be looking to pick up those 2 Archons, send them across the map, and go for a few Zealot warp ins.
Oh, he really is. Meanwhile, I'm very curious because we have 6 Overlords on the way, and you don't make that many Overlords unless you want an influx in supply because roaches are so supply heavy. DIMAGA may be cutting workers at this point. There is no 4th hatchery, which is pretty sus. There should be a 4th by this point. DIMAGA is amassing his own army.
All right, so this can get kind of weird for the Protoss player as well, just because you're expecting to be hitting this timing here, but I think the Zerg's going to have more than enough to deal with it. In fact, it might be MacSed on the back foot once again.
It may be. I mean, roach speed just now starts, so like the counterattack from DIMAGA is going to be quite a ways off as we have continued roach production. I love it. He's even hiding his roaches here at his third base behind the mineral line as well.
Yeah, really cool stuff here. So he will be hiding those as we do see. Yeah, there we go. MacSed going to be going for this big Zealot warp in the main. We do have a dodge on that stasis trap, so not going to get too much damage, but Zealot harass coming in at the third at the same time. Can he hold this ramp here with the Zealots? That's kind of cool. Not enough stuff here, though.
Oh, he's going for the spawning pool! Up! Can he get it? Can he get it? Oh, no, he does pull away from it in the end. The spawning pool will survive at the same time that Zealot runby that was at the third base. I mean, that's exactly where the roaches were hiding, so there's plenty to defend there.
And I wonder here, did alarm bell start going off for MacSed? Looks like he's throwing down that Robo Bay. I don't know if that's something he was planning to do anyway, but no, some extra batteries. Immortals getting pumped out as well. It looks like he has recognized that this is a very aggressive build coming out from DIMAGA. And for DIMAGA, I think we've got to pull the trigger now that we've been scouted.
We really do. We have shield batteries, not just at the third, but also at the natural base. Going for immortals like this is also a sign that MacSed knows that he needs to be as defensive as possible. He's getting ready to receive. At the same time, this one Adept shades in and is getting a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah, the Adept going to be taking a decent amount of shots. Takes out 3 of those drones there. Gets a little bit of a scout of the move out as well. So MacSed going to be preparing for the fight right now as, oh, nice job sending that link forward. Takes out the stasis trap.
Oh yeah, Stasis Trap does get denied. Meanwhile, the roaches have already arrived here. Are there any immortals ready for this? We have Archons. The first immortal, I believe, is stuck in the natural. It's making its way over, but is it too late?
Yeah, I mean, we saw how well MacSed was able to do with his control of the prism with the Archons and the Immortals, but he actually loses a few Archons already here, and he might be in a little bit of trouble here as the shield battery overcharge going to be going down. I mean, I believe in the micro orb that MacSed, but...
Oh...
Yeah, it's a rough spot.
It really is. The Disruptor comes out, but the Nova completely misses. But we do have a couple of reinforcing Zealots coming in. The Disruptor did survive, by the way. The Immortals are doing a lot of damage, and DIMAGA hasn't done any economic damage.
It's a bit of a repeat of that last game, so definitely don't blame MacSed for doing the same thing once again. If it worked the first time, why not the second time? And very good Nova comes out there, and that might just be the end of this attack for DIMAGA. MacSed, once again, amazing Warp Prism control to get the hold.
Yeah, exactly. The first Nova may have whiffed, but the second one was solid indeed. And now DIMAGA's in a really rough spot. Look at the worker comparison. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, every second that goes by is the game slipping away from the grasp of DIMAGA. With him being so heavily in roaches as well, I'd say the supply doesn't even look good for him. Yeah. Just looking at the army, they're probably pretty equivalent here.
Yeah, I say this all the time, but the supply sometimes lies. It lies when we have too many roaches and when we're in this kind of situation here. DIMAGA, his army is not looking good whatsoever, despite what the numbers may tell you, as the Disruptor count continues to get higher and higher, and I don't see a world where this really does any damage here. I guess the only way is that if DIMAGA is able to avoid all those Novas.
He's going to be pushing away this little drop that was coming in towards the main. So good job from DIMAGA there. I mean, there's lots of things that he's doing very well in these games, but it feels like MacSed just has a really nice build for holding this kind of aggression. I wonder if it would have been a lot better for DIMAGA if MacSed was the kind of player to go for Blink first.
100%. 100%, mate. I imagine that that's maybe what he was hoping for, what he was vying for, but alas, that is not the case. We had Zealots instead, we had Immortals instead. I mean, because of the overall build, we have our gas to spend on Immortals. We have it free for that, as well as the Archons as well, and DIMAGA, he's got to make a choice here. He droned up a little bit, but not too much. He's once again focusing on his army.
Oh, and it's going to be a Colossus follow-up as well. This is something that I have noticed a lot of the Korean Protosses doing as well. So it looks like MacSed, maybe from his time on the Korean server, picking that up too. Colossus have, started to become popular in PvZ again, which is perplexing to me, but it works.
Yeah, it has its place. Both Hero and Classic have been embracing the Colossus transition here because it does so well against Lings. I think we've talked about this a little bit before, where because Ling responses were so common against Blink Stalkers, like transitioning quickly from +1 Blink into Colossus kind of hard counters the Ling Bane Hydra that a lot of Zerg players have been trying to go for. We have Roaches instead in this case, so Colossi aren't going to be as impactful, but against these Lings that will have upgrades soon, they will have their place.
It feels like as well, it's kind of a way for MacSed to just turn his money into a higher quality army, get an advantage that way. It looks like he might have been able to delay the fourth once again. Pushes back the Roaches on the left. DIMAGA actually looking like he is starting to get towards stabilizing, but I mean, he's being forced to make a lot of army when he's already so low on drones, and this can be kind of a trap that you fall into as Zerg, where, I mean, you have to make the army to survive, but because you're not making the army, you're not making drones, and that just guarantees that you're in trouble now.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier about how DIMAGA is a little bit shy about droning and taking bases, and this is a prime example of that. It's almost Kaz-esque, where DIMAGA he's super maxed. You know, he's here at 62 workers, and he is just maxed out with an insanely large army, and really it's going to be all or nothing here. The next big fight has to go his way, otherwise he won't really have an economy to rebuild his army.
Yeah, it feels like a pretty difficult way to play against Protoss, because Protoss units are pretty good, but there we go. We can see that he is doing exactly what you were talking about, dumping all of his gas into Banes and Ravagers, making his army as supply efficient as it possibly can be. I mean, this is pretty much the most supply efficient you can be without being tier 3 as a Zerg. And I think as +2 melee and range finish, that's going to be his sign to just go for this all-out, all-in attack.
100%, mate, and here we go. We're going to be getting into this right now. Max is just solidified here on his 4 bases. We do have a Fleet Beacon and a Dark Shrine on the way, so MacSed is looking to transition and take to the skies if he ever needs to, and that is going to be a pretty hard win condition here because, again, DIMAGA doesn't really have much that shoots up. He's actually Max, and it looks like he's waiting maybe to hit with 2-2.
MacSed's army already looks so good here.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very strong army that he already has. He's only going to be making it better. The DT is just going to be complicating things as well, but DIMAGA turning every single Ling almost into a Baneling here. Looks like he might even be trying to get rid of these Roaches now.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him here because DIMAGA is slowly working on a bank as well, just because he's been maxed out for so long. We do see a bit of a Zealot run by confirming the 4th base here towards the north as well. GT run by looking to try and take down the hatchery, but no, we do have detection available, thankfully.
Yeah, nicely done by DIMAGA. He is in position to deal with this, and he has shown himself to be a very strong defensive player, which, you know, I find it kind of sad when I see these players who are so good at all-inning, and when they play out the game later on, they're extremely good defensively, but they're just too far behind already.
Yeah, exactly. The Novas are going to be going off. The Bailey's going to be crashing into everything in sight, though. Is this going to be enough? It looks like, oh my god, it's not enough to bring down the Colossi. And MacSed, look at his supply. It's barely dented.
Yeah, pretty quick remax here for DIMAGA. He is pretty poor. It's going to be difficult for him to remake his army so quickly. He is pumping out a pretty huge amount of Lings, but that's where the Colossus come in, right?
Yeah. I'm shocked that the Colossus survived, by the way. That was a lot of Banelings. A lot of Banelings rolling on in. Meanwhile, we have a Zealot runway towards the south. It looks like the Lings are focusing down those Colossi. The reinforcements are forcing MacSed back.
Units are going to be going down, but both of those 4th and 5th went down as well.
Yeah.
DIMAGA knocked back to 3 bases, most of those mined out as well, so this while there is momentum in his favor, I don't think he breaks any basis of MacSed, and that pretty much spells the end of his game here.
Yeah, we were talking about it before, right? Like, DIMAGA has one big fight in him to end the game. We had that big fight, didn't end the game. He killed the army, but, you know, there's more to MacSed than that, as MacSed is looking to rebuild, and DIMAGA is going for one final push here towards that fourth.
Yeah, as you're saying, it really relied a lot on that attack, and I think the Novas that MacSed got were just a little bit too good, and here we see him creating his own choke to get all that splash damage out of the Colossus. The cannons aren't even going down, the shield battery overcharge stands strong, the Stalkers can micro back to the safety of the cannon and the battery overcharge, and that's just about the end of it here. I think MacSed has done it for IG. I think they're going to be going to Code S here. GG.
I think you're right. GG, well played. MacSed takes the 2-0, and Invictus Gaming will be advancing on to Code S. But a shout out to Berserker eSports. They did fight their heart out throughout the entire Code A bracket, and we saw their players fight their hearts out as well. So Spatz, BattleB, and DIMAGA, I wish them the best. Unfortunately, they won't be a part of Code S.
Yeah, I mean, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen some really fantastic performances. Spatz especially stands out to me. I mean, BattleB looked fantastic tonight as well. But Spatz definitely a player that, yeah, I've noticed him now. I'm not sure that really counts for much, but he definitely showed to the world what he could do with the World Team League. And yeah, condolences, of course, to Berserker eSports that they weren't able to make it through, but always got to have a winner and a loser. So great job to Invictus Gaming, and hope to see what they can do in Code S.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see XY advancing on and being a part of Code S once again. As we are going to be going on a short break here, when we return, we're going to be casting another series. I believe it is going to be, Abydos up against Starlight Twinkle to find out who faces Team Basilisk in the grand final of Code A.
There we go. So some very strong players coming up. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure you stay around for that one as we just go for a little break now.
See you then.